Hey everyone. Just wanted to kind of put out my thoughts on the future of mini and classic consoles. There's been a lot released the past year, definitely, and there seems to be more coming out. So heading into 2019, I've really been thinking about the mini and classic consoles a lot with the PC Classic, Sega Genesis Mini, and the potential Nintendo 64 Classic coming. I already did a video for what games I want to see on the Genesis Mini, link down in the description. But right now, I want to talk about the future of the idea of micro consoles. I love them. I love having them. They're a great collection piece and a great way to play old games in HD conveniently. Right now, I own the NES and Super Nintendo, Commodore 64, Famicom, and my wife just got me the PlayStation Classic the other day. Now that it's on sale, but regardless, I'm a really big fan of them. They're pretty interesting pieces. So I just want to talk for a minute about what I like to see and what I expect from companies in the future regarding these micro mini classic consoles. First up, Nintendo, the ones who started the whole mini console craze. The NES and SNES classics have now been discontinued, and Reggie Fils-Aimé stated they have, quote, no plans for an N64 classic, which is disappointing. However, I fully expect to see one next year. I would be really surprised and a little bit disappointed if they didn't put it out, but I'd be really surprised if not. Um, I uh, I don't want to talk too much on the idea of the N64 Classic. I want to save my thoughts for a future wish list video. So go ahead and look forward to that. It's going to be the same as the Genesis wish list. As for the NES and SNES classics, some I've heard, on the internet suggested that Nintendo might use the revised models, such as the top loader for the NES, and release a mini version of that with new games, ones that might have been, quote, snubbed from the original NES and SNES units. Unfortunately, with Nintendo, I can almost to say 100% guarantee Nintendo will never do that. And it's sad to say that, but I think that's the unfortunate truth that we live with. But moving on, we have Sega. They just dropped AtGames, and they're working on the Sega Genesis Classic Mini, whatever they're going to call it, right now internally. So looking forward to that. Link in the description to hear my wish list. But after that, I'd hope that they would make a Master System Mini. I know people want to see a Saturn or a Dreamcast Mini. So do I. I really do. I really do. But I feel that might be too costly for Sega at the time. Just remember, baby steps with Sega. We saw what happened with that game. So just take it slow. Next is Sony. Oh boy, Sony. What can I say that hasn't already been drilled into the ground? The only thing I could see them doing is releasing a revised model of the PlayStation Classic using the PS1 shell, which was the revised model of the PlayStation, with DualShocks at least 1 and 20 new better games that are probably emulated better. I mean, if Sony just took the time and really worked on it, got better games, made it emulation better, just really put some thought into it rather than what happened with the PS1 Classic. But yeah, unlike Nintendo, I can see Sony doing the revised model re-release just kind of based on how their original one sucked. And no, I don't expect to see a PS2 Classic for a while. Unfortunately, it costs too much. Kind of the same thing with the Dreamcast, and especially the Saturn Classic or Mini. Finally, some quick thoughts on the PC Classic. It looks cool. I'm interested in it. They haven't really put out a lot of information. I know they're crowdfunding, and I'll make a video when the crowdfunding page goes live and they announce the 30 built-in games. I'm pretty sure that's what they said. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it's more to follow on that. I will definitely make a video on my thoughts and if I'm going to be picking it up or not. Probably will, though. To wrap up the mini console talk, some mini classic consoles I'd love to see that will most likely never happen. A CDI mini. I know people put out jokes on Twitter or whatever about a CDI mini, and Philips responded. It'd actually be pretty cool to see that, as weird as it would be. A 3DO classic. Again, those games are just they're hard to get, so having a little classic console would be pretty cool. A true Neo Geo Mini, not what they released last year now at Arcade. I want to see the actual console that they released as a mini with built-in games. A Atari Jaguar Classic. Again, same thing. Just the games are hard to get. The console's expensive. Having a nice little HDMI micro console with games would be amazing. And finally, something that's easy. I think a not at games Atari 2600. I kind of want Atari to do what Sega did. Will never happen, but I want them to internally make an Atari 2600 classic. Just drop the flashback name and just do it a little bit better. But hey, maybe it will happen. Maybe these were all in the future. I mean, PC Classic is a thing. Commodore 64 Mini, that happened, so maybe it will happen. I'll keep my fingers crossed. But anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments below, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, guys.